The Roman Catholic Church combats a global rise in demonic possessions by reopening schools to train priests to perform exorcisms. Although nuns are forbidden to perform this ritual, a professor recognizes Sister Anne's gifts and agrees to train her. Thrust onto the spiritual front line, she soon finds herself in a battle for the soul of a young girl who's possessed by the same demon that tormented her own mother years earlier. Hey, what is up everybody? It's me, Anthony. I am back doing movie reviews, and boy, I came out of retirement of doing movie reviews just for this one because I'm going to make it my sole mission to make sure that everybody knows about this movie because we need sequels to this. And before I get into the review of this movie, guys, make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button. I know it's changed color, but it still does the same thing. But let's get into Pray for the Devil. Let me talk about what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and why I think that you should go out and support this film. Because y'all always talking about, there's not original stuff anymore. No original horror. We need original horror. Here it is. It may not be the best thing, but hey, I love this movie like I've been saying, I like this movie quite a bit. I liked also the movie Unholy. And I know some of you guys watched that movie or seen reviews of that movie, thought it was trash. I thought it was pretty funny, one of those movies like it's so bad that it's good. But Pray for the Devil is one of those. This one is a better, higher quality than the Unholy, but it does still have some kind of elements that we'll talk about later on that I can see that some people that are more like critical on the movies that they watch and certain things that they see in films and the way that stories are told in films, they'll see that and they'll kind of pick it apart. But for me, as somebody that loves this kind of film genre, horror genre, if you will, the whole supernatural, religious kind of exorcism type movie, when it's done right, I think it's probably one of the best in the genre. And I think that Pray for the Devil is going to be made up now because, like I said, I'm going to try to push this out because I think a lot of people need to see this movie. But I think that at least this movie is going to get a cult following. I hope it gets enough following so we can get those sequels that I mentioned, because this movie does hint at a sequel, which again we'll get to later on. But I need it all. I need the sequels. We live in a universe where I'm going to get Warrior Nun, more Warrior Nun, and then possibly more Pray for the Devil. I need it all. I need it all. So let's talk about our lead actress in the film, the one that you're going to spend our majority of our time with, and that is Sister Anne, played by Jacqueline Byers. And she does an amazing job. I loved her performance. She has a very commanding presence when she's on screen. I think also the cinematography helped her a lot, helped her become more commanding on screen. Every time she, enters a room, all eyes on her. And that's also possibly because she's a nun in this Catholic school where all the priests are learning to be exorcists, and nuns aren't supposed to learn that kind of thing. So that also may be a reason why everybody is drawn to her on the film. But I think me as an audience is also really drawn to her. I think the cinematography kind of helps. It kind of puts like a kind of spotlight on her. It makes you kind of like, I know it's a religious movie, but like Virgin Mary kind of thing going on. But Jacqueline does an amazing job. And I don't think she's really that well seen in Hollywood at all. I looked at her filmography and I was like, not a lot of stuff going on here. There's one movie, her first film, Blizzard. That looks weird. I also think that the cinematography is well done. When you have horror films like this, I feel like ever since James Wan was on the scene, cinematography and horror has gotten a little bit more attention. And in this film, the cinematography is pretty on point. It really helps with creating the jump scare aspect. And I know not a lot of people like jump scares in movies, as particularly horror films. So if you don't really like that, probably don't watch this movie, because there's a lot of jump scares in the film, and they really do, set you up for the jump scares. There's a lot of music playing, and then it stops, and then it's jump scares about to happen. But overall, I think that the cinematography in this film does a really good job of just making things creepy, and that's what you need to do in a horror film, right? Also, when it comes to the exorcism aspects of this film, when they're showing people getting exorcised and people performing exorcisms, the cinematography in that, one scene in particular with a lady in a bed, that was kind of creepy in the way that they did the cinematography for that one, and the mix of the practical and CGI effects. That was pretty outstanding. And speaking of practical effects, they kind of surprised me that with the amount of practical effects and makeup that they are using in this film, because It's 2022. Most of the time when movies like this come out, I'm expecting a lot of CGI when it comes to the supernatural aspect. But like I said, they surprised me a lot with just the amount of makeup that they're using and the amount of practical effects that they utilize in this film. It definitely heightens the fear and makes things a little bit more believable, even though you can clearly tell this is like fictional, though they did psych me out. They did psych me out in this film because they start off the film with like this text that makes you think that it's based off of a true story, and you're kind of like, dude, is this real? I had to go do some research on it, but no, it's not real. It's in the fictional world, but they had me. Now for the not so good stuff. I as much as I like this movie, I'm not gonna lie to you guys and say that everything's perfect in this film, because there is some stuff in here that I'm like, yikes, that's not good. And I think the biggest culprit in this film is the pacing. There's just times where characters are at one place and then the next place it's 3 months later, and the film pretty much expects you to understand and just go along with all this information that they are saying, that these characters are giving us, that hasn't been happening on screen. Kind of made me think, like, did I just go on a bathroom break that I didn't remember and I forgot to push pause? Another thing that may or may not pulled me out of the film, is the CGI. It's not good. I don't know how to say it any nicer. It's not good. Again, I wasn't really expecting this to be a masterpiece when it comes to CGI. You can watch the trailer and you can kind of know what I'm talking about. CGI that they put on the girl that's possessed, kind of laughable at points, especially when it comes to the little girl being possessed. The CGI that they use in that scene in particular, it's funny. Even with all that stuff, there's the pacing issue that it has, which is, I can see, being a big crux for a lot of people. Even with that, even with the CGI, I still really enjoyed this film. Like I said, I'm a big sucker for this kind of stuff. I was always fascinated with like the history of like the Catholic Church and the religious aspect of that. And that might be because I played a lot of Assassin's Creed back in the day. Might be the reason. But I think that the strong lead performance, as well as the really unique and awe-inspiring set design that we have in this film, is more than enough to outweigh the cons that I would have in this film. And again, we're possibly getting the sequel here, guys. Okay, like I said, Warrior Nun, and this is going to be possibly in our media sphere. We need to support this. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know if you are a fan of Warrior Nun, because apparently I'm the only one. It's like me and 4 other people are a fan of Warrior Nun. Let me know. Season 2 is coming out. Let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know what you think of this film, Pray for the Devil. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you gonna go see it? Do you want to see it? Let me know. Have you heard of this lady, Jacqueline Byers, whatever how you say her name? I never heard of her before. I think she has a possibility of becoming a big star if she continues doing this, especially in the horror sphere. But guys, if you want more videos like this, you can click over here. And as always, guys, don't forget to check out my Twitter so you can stay up to date with my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, guys, keep watching movies.